Hey everybody, welcome to my new show, Eyeliner and Injustice. And these are going to be the first 4 cases that we are going to be covering. This is going to be a show about wrongful convictions, murders that have never been solved, or murders that have been covered up. It's going to be about past injustices and current injustices. But this is Christopher Bynum. We're going to be covering his wrongful conviction today. This will be the 2nd episode, the murder of Brandon Embry. The 3rd episode is going to be the wrongful conviction of Ronnie Long. And the 4th episode is a very important episode, which is going to be covering the murder of Emmett Till that actually happened here in Mississippi. Over 65 years later, no one has been held accountable for his murder. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the wrongful conviction of Christopher Bynum this evening. But before we start talking about this case in detail, Christopher is currently spending 300 years in prison for 5 murders that he did not commit. And I'm going to share some of those facts with you about the case now. So, over 20 years ago, he was wrongfully arrested for these 5 murders. 20 years ago, 20 years he's been in prison. Now, I'm going to share some things with you about this case that is absolutely going to blow your mind. So, the first thing is that when Christopher was wrongfully arrested, now he had an airtight alibi, but when he was wrongfully arrested, he was actually down at the police station and across town. His then fiance was actually taking their son to daycare. The police pulled her over and they actually put her in cuffs and brought her down to the police station, which was, they brought her down to a room that was adjacent to the room where Christopher was, so he could see her from behind a window. And they told him that if he did not confess to these murders, that they were going to send his fiance away and the state would take their little boy. So because he was pressured and threatened with losing his family, he was basically coerced into a confession. And I think that is absolutely disgusting. The second thing is that there is 0 DNA evidence that connects Christopher to this crime. There is 0. But here is where things get really, really interesting. There was DNA extracted from one of the victims, from inside one of the victims, and I'm not going to get too, graphic or anything, but I will put a link in the comments so that you can actually see the whole story. There was DNA that was extracted from inside one of the victims, and that DNA matched to the son of a police officer. Then there were 2 other samples that matched as one that was extracted from inside 2 of the other victims. And that, now remember, this happened 20 years ago, but those 2 DNA samples that were extracted matched to one man that was connected to a murder in 2010. Now, what is mind-blowing to me is that neither the police officer's son nor the other individual whose DNA was extracted from the victims have been held judicially accountable at all. Like, none whatsoever. Another important key piece of evidence was a sworn statement from a 12-year-old who was there at the time of the crime when it occurred. And he said that a man named Chris was present when it happened. But here's where it gets really interesting. He later admitted that he was coerced by police to make this written statement, and he fully recanted his statement completely. Here is another interesting key piece of evidence. Later down the road, there was a man who made a videotaped confession going into very specific detail about committing these murders. I mean, extremely specific detail, in details that the public would not know. He stated that the reason that he was making that videotape confession was to, quote, clear his conscience. Here's where it gets really strange. Very soon thereafter, this man ended up mysteriously being murdered. So not only do you have a confession from another person committing this crime, but you also have direct evidence from the crime scene pointing to someone else. Now, how crazy is that? That just absolutely blows my mind that Christopher has been wrongfully behind bars for the last 20 years and is currently spending 300 years behind bars for 5 murders that he did not commit. This has been going on for over 20 years and still no justice for Christopher. Behind all of this tragedy and sadness and being wrongfully behind bars for 20 years, spending a total of 300 years in prison for a crime that he did not commit, something very important is coming up 8 days from today. There is going to be a hearing conducted by the state of Indiana, and that hearing is going to possibly determine whether Chris's conviction is actually vacated or not. During that time, it is important for all of us to join together. We can join virtual hands, we can join virtual hearts, and we can join virtual voices, and we can take a stand for Christopher. So, what I'm going to do at the end of this video is I am actually going to put in the description the link to his petition, and I ask that you share this video that will include his petition so that we can work together for our voices to be heard on this horrible, gross injustice. You know, one thing that just really breaks my heart is Christopher has lost so much time being able to do the things that he loves. He's missed 20 Christmases. He's missed 20 Thanksgivings. He has missed 20 birthdays with his kids. His kids are grown now. He has missed so many things. Spending time with, you know, his family, get-togethers, family reunions. But I believe that if we join together, that we all can make a difference. And, you know, I don't know if you believe in praying or not. I personally do. But I'm asking, even if you don't pray, to please send up thoughts, good vibes, or whatever it is you do when you were thinking somebody that's in a really bad situation, because this is not right, and it has to end. So if you would like to know what you can do in order to help Christopher Bynum, just look in the description of this video and click the link, and it will take you out to Christopher's petition. And there you can sign your name. You can even share the petition without sharing my video. You just click the link and share it. Last time I checked, it was at over 10,000 signatures. But right now we need every signature that we can get because this hearing is coming up and everyone's voice needs to be heard. Well, that looks like it's a wrap. But please visit my description and sign Christopher's petition, and in 8 days there will be a decision. Please send prayers or good vibes or whatever it is that you do. Please send them up, because I just have a feeling that justice is coming. Thank y'all so much for watching my show. Feel free to share and like this video, and feel free to subscribe. I would love to have you. See y'all on episode 2 soon. God bless. Love y'all. Good night.